Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, maybe even good night, depending on where you are in the world. As Lindsay mentioned, my name is Grant, and I'm part of the product marketing team at Pluralsight. Now today, we're going to go over some powerful new features coming very, very soon to you and your team on Pluralsight. And I have the honor of working with our product team, and many of you may have too, as we're constantly working with our customers to enhance Pluralsight, whether on calls or to get feedback. So thank you again for all your help really enhancing the product. Now before we jump in on each one of the 3 new features we'll discuss today, we want to take a step back and look at a real world scenario and at the big picture of what new learning paths, adaptive skill measurements, and mentoring will mean for tech teams looking to deliver innovative projects and solutions. Now we all know that amazing feeling of shipping a project. Usually after a lot of hard work, maybe some really late nights. But how much easier could that project have been, or could that next project be? Let's take a look at how it's going to be possible with Pluralsight.
This is Jeremy. Jeremy and his team just completed a project that had executives awkwardly offering up fist bumps and high fives. Yeah, they were on cloud 9, but that was yesterday. Today, those same executives are pushing for the next big thing. Something smarter, faster, better. Something the industry has never seen before. Don is stressing out big time, but not Jeremy. Jeremy isn't worried because his team has Pluralsight. He knows what technology skills his team needs to meet the company's goals, and Pluralsight makes gaining those skills as easy as grabbing a snack from the candy wall. The team starts with adaptive skills tests. It takes just 5 minutes to get their results. Based on their scores, they get a recommended starting point in a path, saving them time because now they know exactly what they need to learn. At lunch, Jenny freshens up with a few courses. She loves knowing she's learning from industry experts with real-world experience. Jeremy has strong foundational knowledge, but takes some advanced courses to expand his skill set. Don flies his drone around the office for most of the afternoon, but he dives deep on his commute and continues learning at home. When Jenny comes across a particularly challenging concept, she requests a mentor right from Pluralsight. Within minutes, she's not only unstuck, but she's found a solution that can make those executives' dreams a reality. Jeremy and his team return to the office with a newfound confidence, feeling smarter than yesterday. With Pluralsight, there's nothing this team can't achieve. Go team.
Now hopefully that video quality was okay. We're working with our webinar tool. So hopefully everyone got the audio and the visual okay and kind of got the concept. Now just like that video, Pluralsight exists to help companies solve key tech challenges. But this video is just one common scenario in which your team might lack the skills they need to achieve business goals. Now as you know, there are dozens more. Some common challenges include switching tech stacks, onboarding and ramping people up for new hires, evaluating and implementing new technology, increasing productivity and efficiency, retaining and growing talent, and many, many more. Now, Pluralsight was built explicitly for the needs of tech teams like yours to help your team and your business really move at the speed of technology. So we want to know, what challenges are you facing? We just talked about some. Now, are any of these ones kind of on top of your mind, or anything this year, this quarter that you're really focused on? If you could just take a second and let us know, really, are any of these a concern for you right now? The numbers are starting to come in, very interesting. A lot of retaining and growing talent, onboarding and scaling, learning new technology. Very cool. And you can pick more than one as well. All right. Now let's look at the results. So as you can see, people are having a lot of challenges, and it's updating in real time, which is awesome. Everything from improving productivity and efficiency to learning those new technologies to meet goals, which are all very, very important for what you have going on right now. But the question is, where do you begin? You likely have learners at different skill levels, busy subject matter experts who can't get to building a content plan, or subject matter experts that might not even exist internally. And you likely don't even know when your team is skilled enough to start working on the technology itself. As you saw in that video, those days are numbered. Now, it starts with a skill measurement. Our new adaptive skill measurement lets your team members benchmark their skills compared to other professionals using a specific technology, giving them a deep insight into their skill level, project readiness, helping them know what to learn next, and tracking their growth along the way. To measure their current skill level, they take a skill test. This test will tell them what their skill status is. Now, before we look at them, I'm going to show you them live in product. We want to take a step back again and see what makes these tests so unique and helpful for your employees. All right. Hopefully that screen's popping up there. Now, how do they work? They're really fast, accurate, and relevant. Those are the three key things to know. Now, they're extremely fast. Each measurement provides a high confidence result in as little as 20 questions and 5 minutes. Now, what's nice about the speed of measuring, existing options can take a lot of time. We're talking weeks, even months to coordinate, as well as taking time of your employee away. These are built right into the technology learning solution you already have with Pluralsight. They're also accurate. Our patent-pending assessment technology uses item response theory and is one of the most sophisticated and accurate skill assessment engines in the world. And this exclusive technology comes from our Smarter acquisition. You might remember hearing about that probably about a year ago. And that team still exists today to keep perfecting and advancing this technology that will be found right here for you, right on Pluralsight. And they're extremely relevant as well. It's a true skill measurement. Each test is created and maintained by industry professionals and covers the most up-to-date topics. In the tests themselves, we have multiple feedback loops that keep each test relevant. The tests themselves have a question flag feature that any test taker can use to provide feedback to us that a question is no longer relevant or something might be wrong. The second built-in feature is part of the technology itself. If a question launched at a difficult level, but now every time a test taker is on it, they get it, or a majority are, the test knows to change the weight of that question to make it more of an easier question. Not necessarily the question is easier, but the weight of the answer itself and getting that one right, what it means. And this is true of each question in the test. It adapts the weight of that question over time. Now, let's go ahead and jump in. I want to show you these. They are almost available for you. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Now, I know some of you might experience a lag, so I'm going to try to give it some time to catch up. If you're on the page with me now, or if you're just getting to it, I'm on the dashboard once a learner signs in, so one of your employees. Now, you're going to notice something very different right up front is these left navigation tools, or options are very different, and my paths is now here, and that's something we're going to talk about next. But you should know that these skill measurements that we're talking about are going to be found in paths. They're embedded in these path pages. Now, I started a Java test very, very early, about 20 minutes ago, just to kind of go through it. So I didn't want to go through the 20 questions with you. I went through about 17, and you can see here it's letting me know I've come back. So if your users were to start this from the very beginning, they would have a different onboarding experience and explain it. Now, I'm not a Java expert, so the next three, I'm just going to guess. I got one right, that's good. And this is really just to show you what the experience looks like here. So you'll see a question. You can see they also highlight about how much time is left or how many questions are left, so someone knows when the end is coming. And then options for the answers. A little explanation on what you can expect in the next question. If you get it wrong, you're probably going to get an easier question. If you get it right, you're going to get a harder question. That's part of how the test adapts as you go through it. You also have a timer. Now, the timer is based on how long it should take. So you'll see this, I think, from anywhere from 20 seconds up to one where I got 90 seconds, where it was a much more detailed question with a lot more code to look at. Now, you can also see here on the bottom right, there's an option to give feedback. So just like we talked about, those feedback loops to make sure all the questions are relevant. And what I really want to get at is as we get through this, I'm going to select a few more here to try to figure out my scores. There we go. Now, I said I'm not a Java expert, but I did have the answers for answering those ones when we weren't on the screen here together. Now, I just wanted to do that because I didn't want to pop up at a level 3 and embarrass myself when I'm presenting to all you wonderful people. So I wanted to show what it looks like when you do have people who know the technology. Now, you can see here, I got a rating of 223. That's phenomenal. That's really, really good. I did have the answers, though. But what's important to take away from this is measuring my skill compared to everyone else who's taken this test. So you can see I wound up on the expert side, but this is really powerful awareness for your employees. If they were to wind up in novice, you'd probably say, well, they're not ready for the job yet, or they can't take on this technology. Once they enter into that proficient range, though, you're starting to see they're measuring really, really well compared to other professionals using Java. As we pop out, we're going to return back to the skill path. You can see it here. So it will be embedded on this Java path page. This is where you will find all of your scores if you're a learner, or where they can find it themselves. Now, let's jump back out of there. It's interesting to know that these are embedded on the path pages, and this is going to come into play when we talk about paths shortly. But I want to jump out real quick and take you back to the presentation. All right. So how do those tests work? What was really going on behind the scenes? Now, I love looking at this graph because it really shows over time how the tests work. You can see when you begin, everyone has the possible range of 0 to 300, and we assume everyone's coming in at 150, kind of that average. Now, as they go along in the middle, the score starts to fluctuate in what's possible. So you can see those colorful ranges start to lower as we determine what the possible outcomes are. You can see that dot in the middle is where they are when they take that question. And as each question goes along, you can see in that we start to narrow the outcome. And at the end, we have the range of outcome narrowed to almost certainty and the skill rating reported. So you can see in this one, we've kind of simplified. It would be at least double when they take 20 questions. But each question narrows that certainty down. And at the end, we're very, very confident with what they've received. So to determine your skill status, the measurement is provided. So you can see right here someone received a 120. But this measurement also provides them with more. It doesn't just benchmark and let them know. It also starts to update their experience as well. So that's when we jump into paths. All right. Now you can see we have an all-new path experience. And it's been completely overhauled. If you've been with us before, you know we used to have them on the blog. Those have been removed, removing everything in-app, which is going to be an awesome experience for your learners. These paths are going to be a big focus for us moving forward. Now they're guided in outline training and are handpicked by professionals, which we'll talk about more. Each path is also consists of levels, which we're going to look at, and covers a specific technology, topic, or prepare for a certification. Each path is created and maintained by an industry professional and builds on the learner's knowledge or skill in the right order. So there's introductory, intermediate, and advanced sections. And now I mentioned we have two path types. There are skills and certifications. Now we created these two types of paths first because it's literally what we kept hearing from our members, just like yours. They want to add or extend skills. They don't want to jump into a new role or something like that. They want to build on their skill level or add complementary skills. So we went with skill path and certification path, which are all part of this path experience. Now, as we mentioned, each skill path also includes an adaptive skill test that will help determine where to start in the path, which will save valuable learning time and will help measure their progress throughout the learning journey. So again, let's go look at this live. Give a couple seconds for everyone to jump in there. Now, hopefully you're on the Java page with me. You can see my rating is an expert, and that's going to recommend this advanced section to me. So if I were to fall in that proficient range, I'd probably be intermediate, or if I'm in that upper part, it might shoot me to advanced. We calculate it on the backside, and then in the novice, we'll recommend beginner. Now I'm going to jump out back into paths, and you can see one of my lower scores. So you see here, hopefully that JavaScript, I'm a novice. Now you can see it's recommended I go into the beginner section. And you can see here as a learner I can track my progress, and I can continue to scroll down to see just really what all my learning is going to encompass as I learn JavaScript. So you can see here JavaScript fairly light as far as timing, but there's plenty more paths that are very, very detailed as well. Now what I really like about this is we also call out what you'll learn. So you can see here in bullet form, which makes it really easy to see, and then you can start to get deeper in the beginner, intermediate, and advanced section, seeing all the courses, even clicking on them to see the course description, as well as the table of contents of what's covered in there. You'll also see related topics. You can see prerequisites and authors as well. So it's really cool. You probably know all about our content already. Now they can find all these authors in one streamlined place to make sure they're learning a technology or certification or skill really in the right order. Now I do want to go look at the path overview page with you again. So this is the path overview page. You'll find this here on the left navigation when this launches. You'll see immediately my paths again, just like we saw on the learner dashboard. And this will highlight all the paths where I've watched something relatively recently. So you can see JavaScript, we jumped in there, or Java, where we were working with that test. Now below, you'll be able to see all of the paths available, as well as the development paths, IT paths, and creative paths, and then the certification paths. Now, certification paths will not have skill tests associated with them. That's just something to know. We're working on a different solution there as far as preparing for certifications. But as we jump in, I'll see if I can find one here. You'll also notice that these are not labeled in introductory, intermediate, or advanced. Certification paths just do not make sense in that layout. So you'll see them sectioned in different ways. So this one's just a simple, you're going to need to watch all of these, make sure to watch this content in its order. But other ones will have it in different sections as well. All right. Now, as we jump out of paths, I'm going to walk you through a demo again. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I have a few monitors going, so I'm talking through it with you just so you know where I am at that moment. All right. So now tracking growth with skill measurement. This is something very important that's coming soon. You can see here, this is a mock-up. Now, when we launch this feature, we're not going to have this right away, but it's kind of the next thing that you'll see in skill tests. You can see here on January 6th where my rating was, and then over time, I'd retake that test after I've been learning, and you can see my new skill. So instead of just looking at usage, now we're going to be able to say, I went from here to here compared to other professionals. This is really exciting stuff. We hope you think so too. Now, one thing to note here, the logic behind when you're going to be able to remeasure skill, there's two ways. We don't want people just to retake and retake and retake and trump those scores. We don't think it's going to change their score, but we don't want that habit to be out there. So the first retake is going to be, I had a bad day. My boss just came over and I was in the middle of a test and he told me I have a new project and I need to stay that night. And this score is not reflective of what I think I can. So there's that immediate retake of a test, and that's going to replace your score. Now the second one is that remeasuring. Now the logic behind that is, say you came in and you got that beginner level, you finished out the beginner section of a path, then that's a good time to remeasure your skill. So the logic is, after you finish a section of a path, you'll have the ability to remeasure and track that growth. Now again, this won't launch, this retake feature won't launch right away, but it is coming very, very soon, right behind when we do launch paths and adaptive skill tests. Now let's jump into our third feature, and that is an exciting one as well. It is mentoring. So now your employees are learning, say they're deep in their progress, maybe they have a path, they're following that, but what if they get stuck? They encounter a tricky topic or an important question about how they want to use the technology. It can be a frustrating experience. I'm sure all of you are aware of this. That's why we've built in this new feature into the platform that connects members with a vetted professional on demand. Now, as we talked about, there are times when a professional just needs a hand or a virtual learning environment to raise their hand. Like we talked about, it can be help getting around a tricky topic, or they don't want to bother a teammate, which can take the time of two people. So they're not only taking their time getting stuck looking on the internet and forums trying to get a solution, but maybe they pull in one of your experts or top people to come help, which is not always ideal when you're maybe tight on time. They're taking that time as well away from the learning or the project, or maybe they just have general questions about best practices. They can ping in instead of reaching out to an expensive consultant. They can just contact and say, hey, we're thinking about doing X, or we're evaluating these two technologies. They can put in a request and have a mentor come in. So I'm going to show you what that experience looks like because it is a little difficult to just talk about without seeing it. So we have another video here I'm going to play to kind of walk you through what that mentoring experience will look like.
Everyone needs a hand sometimes. Whether you hit a roadblock while picking up a new skill or need advice on a project, Pluralsight Mentors connects you with an expert on demand faster. Here's how it works. First, you tell us what you need help with today. This allows us to match you to the mentor best suited for your request. Then, set the maximum rate per minute you're wanting to pay for a mentor. Once you submit your request, it's broadcasted to the Pluralsight Mentor community. Our algorithm connects you with a mentor who has proven experience with your specific topic. After a mentor is found and you connect, say hello and discuss the request using video and chat features. The first 5 minutes are risk-free, so you can make sure your mentor is the right fit. Throughout the session, you're able to collaborate using built-in tools like screen sharing and a bidirectional code editor. Everything you need to get interactive one-on-one help, just like if you were meeting in person. After ending a session, you can leave a tip, provide feedback, and quickly get back to your learning or work. You can also set follow-up sessions from your My Mentor dashboard. With these sessions, you'll get to continue to work with the mentors you like most and who are familiar with your projects. Get one-on-one help from an expert today with Pluralsight Mentors. Sign up or sign in to get started.
Now, hopefully that video gave you a little insight to really the how-to and when a learner is in there, what they're experiencing when they make that request. Now, what's also really exciting about this new feature is it offers both short-term and long-term help for every mentoring scenario. You need that one-to-one on-demand help, you can get it right away. When you have longer-term goals and need support the entire way, so say you're following a path, you can continue working with a mentor who knows you, your project, and your goals from beginning to end. Almost kind of that personal coach or tutor in a virtual world. Again, all included right here on Pluralsight. Now, as we look at that and we think about it longer term, we're also going to leverage this on the ability to track progress as well. So we talked about watching the content itself and finishing those levels. Eventually, we want to build in other ways that will trigger the ability to remeasure your score. So in this scenario, you might think, oh, first they finished a section of a path, and then they continued and got stuck, and they used a mentor. Again, we're going to build reporting, but how do you kind of track more than just usage? What's that end goal? How can we really see that ROI? That's really where we want skills growth to be shown in these remeasures and retaking tests, things like that. So you'll see paths, and then eventually also working with mentors, how that will influence the skill growth. Now, we do have to foreshadow this. The mentoring solution is coming soon. We're really, really excited about this, but as we've been working with our customers, business accounts, there's some extra tools and features we really, really want to make sure are built in to really make you feel good and comfortable with the solution as you roll it out as well. Now, there's some things we want to talk about. I saw a lot of questions about timing, and we'll get to that as well. But I really want to recap and then talk about a little bit more about roadmap. So hopefully as we've gone through this, you're thinking about how these features can be used in your own company or your own teams right now. Now, we really want you to start using these adaptive skill measurements to help your employees know really how they measure up to other professionals and eventually track their growth. Also use their results to guide their learning in paths. They can know which content to watch and in what order to learn skills like JavaScript, AngularJS, PowerShell, Illustrator, and certifications around CompTIA, PMP, ethical hacking, and a lot more. And throughout this learning journey, leverage mentors to get on-demand and continuous help for accelerated learning and best practice support. And it's all to help meet your goals, growing and scaling, hitting deadlines, increasing productivity, or whatever is most important to your team right now. Now, as far as timing, really what are we working on next? So launching the new features. We think you'll be pleasantly surprised on getting these in your hands. Hopefully the excitement is there. We're working really, really hard to get these out. So stay tuned for that. We'll be communicating it. Additional paths and tests as well. So this initial batch is up there, but we're working on these. We have a team dedicated to both paths and the tests themselves. And if there's anything you ever see that or don't see and would like to, make sure to reach out to your rep or customer support so we can kind of see what people want to see next. So don't be shy to let us know. And then the ability to retake a skill test. That's something we're working on actively right now and will help. And then for you on the admin side, being able to see that skill growth in your reporting section of the admin tools. Both those last two are actively being worked on right now outside of just launching the features themselves. So you can look for that very, very soon. Now, it's important as we roll out these adaptive skill measurements, you are probably familiar with our learning checks. Now, we want to kind of take a few moments just to talk about the differences because it's important to know. It looks like we're good on time too, so I'm going to go into these. Now, learning checks are solely geared towards checking knowledge retention and understanding of a course concept. So we really want your people to be confident about what's covered in the course itself, not necessarily the skills outside of that. So we really want you to think of it as a tool and your learners to think of it as a tool, not necessarily a reflection of your overall skill. Really, that's where adaptive skill measurements come in. We take a step back and look holistically at the skill, not just a single course. And we quantify that knowledge really based on everyone else who's using the technology as well as how the technology is advancing. So it's a much better picture of where someone's skills lie, or really how they've grown, not necessarily learning checks, which you can retake. You can stop and start, those kind of things. It's really that learning aid. And I really like looking at this chart to kind of explain it. So in the 4 cycles of learning, you can see the numbers there, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 is really what to learn. That's what we talked about, taking an adaptive skill test to jump in there, figure out where your skill level is, and then it tells you where in the path to start. The second is while you're learning, using those learning checks to make sure you're understanding the course content. And then as you go into the third one there, you're confirming learning. So you're remeasuring your skills by retaking a test to see how far you've come. And then 4, to show off learning, is eventually those results will be shareable, and you'll be able to see those results as well of your employees, probably on an aggregate level when we're researching really how to present those to you. On the next slide, I really want to take some time just to set expectations too, kind of on how our adaptive skill tests work, just so if you ever come to a page and you don't see a test on a skill path, you'll know why. Now, there's 3 states of a skill test. The first one is questions in progress. So we might have the content ready for a path. We'll release that path and make sure people can follow it if they're ready. That means we're building the questions. The second one is validation mode. Now, our tests don't work right out of the gate. We use the data from people who are answering it. So there's a validation mode. Basically, in this mode, we get enough responses to make sure the test is working correctly. People will take the test, but they won't get a rating or result yet. Then live with skill measurement, when we do push it live, that's when you'll get the full experience. You can take all the questions, and you'll get that end result, which pinpoints where in a path to start. Again, this is just kind of to let you know if you go into a path page and you don't see something, a test available, it's either because you're on a certification path or the questions are in progress. And we'll clearly mark that too. So once you hit the path page, you'll know. All right, so that's it. Coming soon, talking timing. We promise it's really, really close. Hope you guys are all excited. We have plenty of additional resources for your team and for you as well. We encourage you to contact your Pluralsight rep or anyone at Pluralsight to get more information on any of these features that you might want to learn more about, or after exploring them, please feel free to send feedback and what you'd like to see next. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions, and I'll look to Lindsay, see if any questions popped out that are worth addressing.
Thanks, Grant. So we have a lot of questions coming in, and you may have answered this a little bit, but I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit more to who is behind creating the questions for these skills tests, for the skill tests.
Absolutely, yes. So these are all professionally sourced. A vast majority of them are our authors, so people who are creating our content who go through that experience of making sure they're qualified there. Now I know we have some really, really cool tools on the backside that go behind the scenes of building these questions, getting other experts to look at them to make sure, yes, this question does seem like an intermediate question or an advanced question, those kind of things. But they're all created and then validated and then even looked at by our internal teams. And then what's really nice about them, as they go live, we're getting that feedback constantly. Every time that question is taken, we're getting feedback from people who might find something, or the results themselves are giving us that feedback that this shouldn't be an intermediate, it's actually an advanced question because so few people are getting it right, those kind of things. So all created and then maintained by professionals and feedback loops.
Great, thanks, Grant. And then you did mention if people wanted to recommend or request new paths, that they could work directly with their representative. Is that correct?
Yep. Yes, and we also have one if you do go to a course page, there's the ability to just provide feedback as well on the path page. I'll share my screen really quick. Hopefully it's catching up with us. On the right side here, there's a give feedback, and if you click that, you can leave feedback about the path itself or say, hey, have you guys thought about creating a path for X? But don't be shy to let us know, regardless of how you get it. There's plenty of ways, I guess, is where I'm trying to say you can give us feedback, and we definitely want to hear it so we know what to prioritize.
Great. Lee is asking, are members able to report on the questions themselves?
I'm assuming to say report on the question to say if it's something's wrong with it, whether it's invalid, has a spelling error, or is just outdated. Can you get a feel for it? That was a question for you, Lindsay. I'll jump into one here too to kind of see what the feedback loop looks like. Problem is,
sorry, I wasn't really clear on the question. It was kind of a two-part question. So they wanted to know specifically, the team leaders wanting to see how the results were affected. I'm sorry, just it's kind of a loosey question. But see how their users were scoring on each of the questions.
So possibly down to each level. Initially, we're working on finding a way of reporting skill growth on aggregates and not necessarily the questions themselves. But there's a lot of ways we could slice and dice how to report. So if you are interested in giving feedback, I encourage you to reach out to your Pluralsight rep and the product manager for our assessment technology, who's actively exploring that right now, can reach out to you, get your thoughts, your feedback, that kind of thing. But how we slice and dice it on that front is to be determined. We know we want to start with being able to show that skill growth over time, and then maybe down to that granular of a level.
Grant, can you talk about who the one-to-one mentoring will be available for initially?
So initially, we're releasing this to individual subscribers. I'm not one at guessing releases very well, so I would be safe saying by the end of the year we feel good about it. There's just a lot more technicalities and things we want to do to ensure that admins and accounts are really having the mentoring experience they want. So I'd say by end of year, I feel comfortable with that, if not sooner.
Great. And then do all courses fall under a path?
No. So we have now over 5,000 courses, which path is a great thing because it helps you really navigate the library, not just in a path itself, but we're going to start surfacing the paths in the search and browse experience as well. So if someone's searching for, let's use HTML5 content in just our normal search, we'll actually be surfacing these paths. But there are plenty more courses outside of these paths, kind of extensions of those courses or technology that's complementary to these. So I think the core ones will be in there, but there's going to be plenty more opportunities within the library to extend your knowledge or different technologies that aren't in the path themselves.
Okay, great. Somebody is asking how frequently do you think we'll plan on releasing paths?
I think it's going to be very consistent, and sometimes you'll see bigger waves. So I know the creative side of our library are working on kind of a big push where they want to release a bunch at a time, not a bunch, but kind of think of it as a bunch, so a group at a time. And there might be a certain level to how they do it. So we'll take, introductory content in a 3D animation software like Maya. Well, that might be one thing, but animating in Maya might be another. So they might structure them that way. But as far as what our content team is working on, I think they want to shoot for 1 to 2 a week, and then speeding that up as they get more internal tools to be even faster. So right now, we have some processes we can improve that are going to make us release faster than 1 to 2 a week.
Okay, and I believe you did answer this, but we are getting a bunch of questions about it. So although mentoring will be released initially one-to-one for individual subscribers, we do plan on releasing mentoring to enterprise plans eventually, correct, right?
Yes, that is definitely on our map.
Awesome. And then Dawn is asking, is there any possibility that team leads would have the ability to develop their own custom paths?
That is another feature we are actively researching right now. Some of you on this call may have already been kind of in some of those sessions, so I can vaguely say something very similar to paths is in the works. I see the chat, and I see Gil. Gil said channels, so yes, I can say it because he said it. We are working on a new system very similar to custom paths, as well as maybe a replacement for playlists, which takes everything to a whole new level. But we definitely heard that request loud and clear, and we're building that feature right now.
Awesome, cool. So we are getting a lot of feedback that people are pretty excited about this. They can't wait for things to come out. A bunch of questions about the webinar. Yes, it is being recorded, so people that came in late, we will publish this recording so that you can take a look at those videos in case you were on the call and couldn't hear the audio. We will publish those videos later and share the links as well. Grant, did you have any other final thoughts or any closing remarks about all these cool features?
I really think just take a step back and think what these features can mean for your team or for your technical and creative organizations. As we launch these are really going to change a lot of how you approach learning things and how you deliver solutions, products, or projects. And it's only going to continue to get better. So you'll have a lot of these tools, but just know we're actively working on ways to enhance them and build new ones, just like we talked about with the customized paths, those kind of things. So keep sending feedback, try these out, and really I hope everyone enjoys them. And thank you to anyone on this call who helped to build them. A lot of time and effort went into it, so we can't wait to have it in your guys' hands.
Awesome. Thank you, Grant, so much for taking the time to show us the demonstration and sharing the videos with everybody. And everyone, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Again, we're on Twitter. Our handle is @Pluralsight. You can tweet about the webinar today if you have questions that you didn't think about during the presentation. Just tag your comment with #PluralsightLive and we'll find you. Again, you can also email us directly at webinars@pluralsight.com. We'll have the recording of today's presentation up as soon as possible, and we'll share that with everyone. And we can't wait to get all these awesome features out to everyone. So thank you again, and have a wonderful afternoon.